So let's look at electronic mail. Email is today the most used internet application, and according to some studies, around 85% of internet users use email for communication. So electronic mail, or email, is a method to exchange digital messages from a sender to one or more receivers. And it's based on a store-forward model, in which neither of the users nor their computers have to be online simultaneously when you do the message sending. So they connect briefly to a mail server, send or receive messages, and email servers are being used to accept, forward, deliver and store messages. And an email address basically, as I think everybody knows, is composed of a name at domain name type of address. So how does it work? Internet email applications are based on Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, or SMTP. With this protocol, the sender's mail user agent, or MUA, basically an email program, formats the message into an email format and submits it to a local mail submission agent, an MSA, that is commonly known as a mail server. We can see it here on the slide. Alice wants to send a message and sends it through this MSA, the mail server. So the mail server determines the destination address provided in the SMTP protocol and resolves the domain name to determine the name of the mail server where this message has to go. So this is being done by asking the DNS server of the destination domain, and this one responds with an MX reference that contains the mail exchange servers for that domain. And these are called message transfer agents. So you can see this here on the slide. Alice sends the message to the server, and the server asks the DNS where it should send it. So then when it gets a reply from the DNS, then it sends the message to the first MTA, which is here, over the internet. So sometimes this MTA is the final message delivery agent, so the MDA, but it can also sometimes be that it's an intermediate one and it has to be forwarded to other MTAs before it reaches the final MDA. So when it reaches the final MDA, it delivers the message to the mailbox of the receiver. That can receive it using one of the several protocols, which is, for example, POP3, Post Office Protocol, or IMAP, the Internet Message Access Protocol, or a webmail session on the server. And then here, in this example, Bob has received a message from Alice and can read it. So an email message basically consists of three components: the message envelope, the message header, and the message body. So the message envelope is used by the SMTP protocol and contains the information that is used for routing the message. This is basically normally not shown to the recipient. The message header contains control information that is intended to be used by the receiver, and it includes minimally, for example, the originator's email address, who sent you this message, and one or more addresses of the receiver. And it usually also contains other fields like a subject and a date and time and stamp. We will see a more detailed list later. The email body was originally an ASCII text-only communication medium. But this was not enough, and this has been extended by what is nowadays called multi-purpose internet mail extensions, MIME. And these allow the user to send text in other character sets using HTML format content and, for example, add multimedia content attachments like photos and even videos. So usually email clients send messages in two versions, including one in plain text and the other formatted in HTML. And to support for non-ASCII characters that are used in non-English languages, there's internationalized email addresses that use UTF-8 that has been standardized but not yet widely adopted. So here on this slide you see a list of fields that are basically present in a header. So like we said, the from email address and sender's name, where is this message from, the date, local time and date, some automatically generated message ID, an address in reply to, the to email address and the receiver's name, a CC, for example, this is a carbon copy, and this is the secondary receiver's address and names, other people you want to send it to that you want to put in copy of the message. There's a BCC, this is like a CC but blind, so actually the receiver of the message cannot see that you copied this message to the BCC addresses. There's a subject that you can indicate a little summary about the message, what is this message about, and things you basically see there is RE and FWD, which is basically reply to, or FWD is when you forward a message. There is a content type field, which is about the information about the MIME types that are being used in the message, a reply to address that should be used when you reply to the specific message, the sender, the address of the actual sender, and there's trace information. Trace information basically consists of two fields. A full field that is received. When an SMTP server accepts a message, is insert this trace record at the top of the header, which is basically in the order of last to first. And there is a return path when a delivery SMTP server makes the final delivery of a message. It inserts this field at the top of the header, so the message can be traced. So to receive and send messages, you need an email client, and we basically have two options. We can use an application, or we can use a webmail interface that enables us to read and send and manage our messages from an email server. So if we use an email client, we will have to configure it to use one of the two protocols that are available for internet mail, like we indicated before. We have POP3 and IMAP. With POP3, the client connects to the server and downloads all the new messages, and they get erased from the servers and you store them locally on your computer. With IMAP, the messages are stored on the server and the client reads them from there. So you can create folders on the server and organize your stored emails there. So basically, and evidently, the advantage of IMAP over POP3 is that your email messages are all stored on the server. And you can read and access these messages from any computer. While with POP3, you can only read them from the computer where they were stored. And with IMAP, you can access them maybe from your computer, your tablet, your phone, or through the internet of any public computer. So POP3 and IMAP messages are unencrypted. So they can be read by anyone that intercepts them. But there are servers that give you the possibility to add encryption security to both protocols. For webmail, the server should provide you, for example, with HTTP access. Common email clients that probably one of them you use are Mozilla Thunderbird, Outlook Express, or the M client or Mail client that is included in the Mac OS. So you can also configure email enterprise clients such as Microsoft Outlook, which is included in Office, or IBM Lotus Notes that can work with internet email accounts. And if you're using a corporate account that, for example, has Exchange Microsoft server or a Lotus Notes server, your company will have a gateway that lets you communicate seamlessly with internet mail and use it everywhere. So, as I said, also mobile operating systems have their client and can access the server where your messages are stored. And email clients have features to handle conversations with the same subject, mark messages with colors, or ask for read confirmation. And also most email clients have RSS feeds that you can present as emails. So there are several free email providers whose main interface is webmail, and the biggest one are obviously Gmail from Google and Outlook.com from Microsoft. And most of them can be configured so that you can also access them with POP3 or IMAP and use an email client that you install on your desktop, for example.